better known by his pen name George Orwell. Eric Arthur Blair was an English writer and political essayist whose work left an indelible mark on literature and political thought. Born on June 25, 1903, in British India, he passed away on January 21, 1950, in London. His writing is characterized by a passionate clarity, a sharp awareness of social injustices, and a fierce opposition to totalitarianism, especially Stalinism, which he brilliantly satirized in his novella Animal Farm 1945. Orwell is most famous for the dystopian novel 1984, 1949, and the aforementioned Animal Farm. These two works achieved unprecedented commercial success, outselling any other author of the 20th century. Beyond fiction, he was a prolific author of reviews, articles, and essays, with Homage to Catalonia 1938, an acclaimed account of his time in the Spanish Civil War standing out. To this day, Orwell's influence on culture and politics remains alive and relevant.
And if all others accepted the lie which the party imposed, if all records told the same tale, then the lie passed into history and became truth. Who controls the past ran the party's slogan, controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past.
Those who endure violence do so only because others are committing violence on their behalf.
We shall abolish the orgasm. Our neurologists are at work upon it now.
People talk about the horrors of war, but what weapon has a man invented that even approaches in cruelty some of the commoner diseases? Natural death, almost by definition, means something slow, smelly, and painful.
Never for any reason on earth could you wish for an increase in pain. Of pain you could wish only one thing, that it should stop.
He was a faddish but active man of paralyzing stupidity, a mass of imbecile enthusiasm, one of those completely unquestioning, devoted drudges on whom, more even than on the thought police, the stability of the party depended.
It was a bright cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13.
There is a word in Newspeak, said Side. I don't know whether you know it. Duck speak to quack like a duck. It is one of those interesting words that have two contradictory meanings. Applied to an opponent, it is abuse. Applied to someone you agree with, it is praise.
It is a feeling of relief, almost of pleasure, knowing yourself at last genuinely down and out. You have talked so often of going to the dogs, and well, here are the dogs, and you have reached them, and you can stand it. It takes off a lot of anxiety.
War against a foreign country only happens when the money classes think they are going to profit from it.
Perhaps, friend.
They were born, they grew up in gutters. They went to work at 12. They passed through a brief blossoming period of beauty and sexual desire. They married at 20. They were middle-aged at 30. They died, for the most part, at 60. Heavy physical work, the care of home and children, petty quarrels with neighbors, films, football, beer, and above all, gambling, filled up the horizon of their minds. To keep them in control was not difficult.
Never use a foreign phrase, a scientific word, or a jargon word if you can think of an everyday English equivalent.
I am afraid of death. You are young, so presumably you're more afraid of it than I am. Obviously, we shall put it off as long as we can, but it makes very little difference. So long as human beings stay human, death and life are the same thing.
The fight against bad English is not frivolous.
Cricket is a game full or forlorn hopes and sudden dramatic changes of fortune, and its rules are so ill-defined that their interpretation is partly an ethical business.
In our age, there is no such thing as keeping out of politics. All issues are political issues, and politics itself is a mass of lies, evasions, folly, hatred, and schizophrenia.
Envy is a horrible thing. It is unlike all other kinds of suffering in that there is no disguising it, no elevating it into tragedy. It is more than merely painful. It is disgusting.
There exists a huge dump of war, now metaphors which have lost all evocative power and are merely used because they save people trouble of inventing phrases for themselves.
No doubt alcohol, tobacco, and so forth are things that a saint must avoid. But sainthood is also a thing that human beings must avoid.
For, after all, how do we know that 2 and 2 make 4? Or that the force of gravity works? Or that the past is unchangeable? If both the past and the external world exist only in the mind, and if the mind itself is controllable, what then?
Either we all live in a decent world, or nobody does.
He was a lonely ghost uttering a truth that nobody would ever hear. But so long as he uttered it, in some obscure way the continuity was not broken. It was not by making yourself heard, but by staying sane that you carried on the human heritage.
Bonkeys lie the long time. None of you has ever seen a dead donkey.
Never use a long word where a short one will do.
It is also true that one can write nothing readable unless one constantly struggles to efface one's own personality. Good prose is like a window pane.
He was alone. The past was dead. The future was unimaginable.
Saints should always be judged guilty until they are proved innocent.
Napoleon is always right.
Society has always seemed to demand a little more from human beings than it will get in practice.
It was always the women, and above all the young ones, who were the most bigoted adherents of the party, the swallowers of slogans, the amateur spies and nosers out of unorthodoxy.
High sentiments always win in the end. The leaders who offer blood, toil, tears, and sweat always get more out of their followers than those who offer safety and a good time. When it comes to the pinch, human beings are heroic.
After 40, a man is responsible for his face.
Never trust a man who beats his wife.
He wears a mask and his face grows to fit it.
Never use a metaphor, simile, or other figure of speech which you are used to seeing in print.
It is a mysterious thing. The loss of faith is mysterious as faith itself. Like faith, it is ultimately not rooted in logic. It is a change in the climate of the mind.
Gambling, beer, and football filled the horizons of their minds.
The Catholic and the communist are alike in assuming that an opponent cannot be both honest and intelligent.
Political language, and with variations, this is true of all political parties, from conservatives to anarchists, is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable.
Boxer was an enormous beast, nearly 18 hands high, and as strong as any 2 ordinary horses put together.
The other animals understood how to vote, but could never think of any resolutions of their own.
Most people approve of capital punishment, but most people wouldn't do the hangman's job.
The stars are a free show. It don't cost anything to use your eyes.
Serious writers are almost the only people who are aware of what is happening.
If you are a man, Winston, you are the last man.
Myths which are believed and tend to become true.
All men are enemies. All animals are comrades.
All animals are equal.
It was almost normal for people over 30 to be frightened of their own children.
All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
The English are not happy unless they are miserable. The Irish are not at peace unless they are at war. And the Scots are not at home unless they are abroad.
Good novels are not written by orthodoxy sniffers, nor by people who are conscience-stricken about their own orthodoxy. Good novels are written by people who are not frightened.
Rich people are poor people with money.
Some ideas are so stupid that only intellectuals believe them.
Some things are true, even though the party says they are true.
All writers are vain, selfish, and lazy, and at the very bottom of their motives lies a mystery.
So long as I remain alive and well, I shall continue to feel strongly about prose style, to love the surface of the earth, and to take a pleasure in solid objects and scraps of useless information.
Stupidity was as necessary as intelligence, and as difficult to attain.
The further society drifts from truth, the more it will hate those who speak it.
He felt as though he were wandering in the forest of the sea bottom, lost in a monstrous world where he himself was the monster. He was alone. The past was dead. The future was unimaginable.
Clover was a stout, motherly mare approaching middle life.
who had never quite got her figure back after her fourth foal.
Oceania was at war with Eurasia. Therefore, Oceania had always been at war with Eurasia.
So long as human beings stay human, death and life are the same thing.
War is a way of shattering to pieces, or pouring into the stratosphere, or sinking into the depths of the sea, materials which might otherwise be used to make the masses too comfortable and hence, in the long run, too intelligent.
The most basic act of kindness is to give people information.
Probably the Battle of Waterloo was won on the plain fields of Eton, but the opening battles of all subsequent wars have been lost there.
You must be an intellectual. A normal person would never believe a thing like that.
It's a beautiful thing, the destruction of words.
Public opinion, because of the tremendous urge to conformity in gregarious animals, is less tolerant than any system of law.
Until they become conscious, they will never rebel, and until after they have rebelled, they cannot become conscious.
A society becomes totalitarian when its structure becomes flagrantly artificial, that is, when its ruling class has lost its function, but succeeds in clinging to power by force or fraud.
The choice before human beings is not, as a rule, between good and evil, but between two evils.
Why should fruit be held inferior to the flower?
You will be hollow, we shall squeeze you empty, and then we shall fill you with ourselves.
A human being is primarily a bag for putting food into.
The human beings did not hate Animal Farm any less now that it was prospering. Indeed, they hated it more than ever.
And I believe that totalitarianism has not fought against, could triumph again.
They could be made to accept the most flagrant violations of reality, because they never fully grasped the enormity of what was demanded of them, and were not sufficiently interested in public events to notice what was happening.
Only old Benjamin professed to remember every detail of his long life, and to know that things never had been, nor ever could be much better or much worse. Hunger, hardship, and disappointment being, so he said, the unalterable law of life.
There will be no loyalty, except loyalty towards the party. There will be no love, except the love of Big Brother. There will be no laughter, except the laugh of triumph over a defeated enemy. There will be no art, no literature, no science. When we are omnipotent, we shall have no more need of science.
There will be no distinction between beauty and ugliness. There will be no curiosity, no enjoyment of the process of life. All competing pleasures will be destroyed.
We may be together for another 6 months, a year. There's no knowing. At the end, we're certain to be apart. Do you realize how utterly alone we shall be?
He loved Big Brother.
The atom bombs are piling up in the factories. The police are prowling through the cities. The lies are streaming from the loudspeakers, but the earth is still going round the sun.
Writing a book is a horrible, exhausting struggle, like a long bout with some painful illness. One would never undertake such a thing if one were not driven on by some demon whom one can neither resist nor understand.
The Penguin books are splendid value for sixpence. So splendid that if other publishers had any sense, they would combine against them and suppress them.
The best books are those that tell you what you know already.
The best books, he perceived, are those that tell you what you know already.
We are born, we are given just so much food as will keep the breath in our bodies, and those of us who are capable of it are forced to work to the last atom of our strength, and the very instant that our usefulness has come to an end, we are slaughtered with hideous cruelty.
I'm fat, but I'm thin inside. Has it ever struck you that there's a thin man inside every fat man, just as they say there's a statue inside every block of stone?
An illusion can become a half-truth. A mask can alter the expression of a face.
Unpopular ideas can be silenced and inconvenient facts kept dark, without the need for any official ban. Anyone who challenges the prevailing orthodoxy finds himself silenced with surprising effectiveness. A genuinely unfashionable opinion is almost never given a fair hearing, either in the popular press or in the highbrow periodicals.
If you can feel that staying human is worthwhile,
Even when it can't have any practical result whatsoever, you've beaten them.
No one can look back on his school days and say with truth that they were altogether unhappy.
If people cannot write well, they cannot think well, and if they cannot think well, others will do their thinking for them.
If people cannot write well, they cannot think well, and if they cannot think well, others will do their thinking for them.
Despotic governments can stand moral force till the cows come home. What they fear is physical force.
The one certain thing was that death never came at an expected moment.
Anyone who challenges the prevailing orthodoxy finds himself silenced with surprising effectiveness. A genuinely unfashionable opinion is almost never given a fair hearing.
To accept civilization as it is practically means accepting decay.
The upper class desire to remain so. The middle class wish to overthrow the upper class, and the lower class want a classless system.
The belly comes before the soul.
When it comes to the pinch, human beings are heroic. Women face childbed and the scrubby brush. Revolutionaries keep their mouths shut in the torture chamber. Idle ships go down with their guns still firing when their decks are awash.
The very concept of objective truth is fading out of the world. Lies will pass into history.
To be corrupted by totalitarianism, one does not have to live in a totalitarian country.
As thought corrupts language, language can also corrupt thought. A bad usage can spread by tradition and imitation, even among people who should and do know better.
But you could not have pure love or pure lust nowadays. No emotion was pure, because everything was mixed up with fear and hatred. Their embrace had been a battle, the climax of victory. It was a blow struck against the party. It was a political act.
For how could you establish even the most obvious fact when there existed no record outside your own memory?
The food grind is by definition a person willing to cut himself off from human society in the hopes of adding 5 years onto the life of his carcass. That is, a person out of touch with common humanity.
For a creative writer, possession of the truth is less important than emotional sincerity.
It is curious how people take it for granted that they have a right to preach at you and pray over you as soon as your income falls below a certain level.
The words democracy, socialism, freedom, patriotic, realistic, justice have each of them several different meanings which cannot be reconciled with one another.
Voltaire, I detest what you say. I will defend to the death your right to say it.
Perhaps one did not want to be loved so much as to be understood.
Only the disciplined mind can see reality. Winston, you believe that reality is something objective, external, existing in its own right. You also believe that the nature of reality is self-evident. When you delude yourself into thinking that you see something, you assume that everyone else sees the same thing as you. But I tell you, Winston, that reality is not external. Reality exists in the human mind, and nowhere else.
All nationalistic distinctions, all claims to be better than somebody else because you have a different shaped skull or speak a different dialect, are entirely spurious, but they are important so long as people believe in them.
The real division is not between conservatives and revolutionaries, but between authoritarians and libertarians.
Winston Smith, does Big Brother exist? O'Brien, of course he exists. Winston Smith, does he exist like you or me? O'Brien, you do not exist.
These people don't see that if you encourage totalitarian methods, the time may come when they will be used against you instead of for you. Make a habit of imprisoning fascists without trial, and perhaps the process won't stop at fascists.
Literature is doomed if liberty of thought perishes.
Revolutions only affect a radical improvement when the masses are alert and know how to chuck out their leaders as soon as the latter have done their job.
The most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history.
Your worst enemy, he reflected, was your nervous system. At any moment, the tension inside you was liable to translate itself into some visible symptom.
The great enemy of clear language is insincerity. When there is a gap between one's real and one's declared aims, one turns, as it were instinctively, to long words and exhausted idioms, like a cuttlefish squirting out ink.
Beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of every land, and climb, hearken well, and spread my tidings of the golden future time.
If human equality is to be forever averted, if the high, as we have called them, are to keep their places permanently, then the prevailing mental condition must be controlled insanity.
War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength.
Modern English, especially written English, is full of bad habits which spread by imitation, and which can be avoided if one is willing to take the necessary trouble.
At 50, everyone has the face he deserves.
War is evil, but it is often the lesser evil.
A machine evolves by becoming more efficient, that is, more foolproof. Hence the objective of mechanical progress is a foolproof world, which may or may not be a world inhabited by fools.
Nothing exists except through human consciousness.
Happiness can exist only in acceptance.
Writing a book is a horrible, exhausting struggle, like a long bout of some painful illness.